KUGAN, CASSIUS, IFL TV, MTK Global with the public workout ahead of CHISORA Price this week. It's going to be a banger.
It really is. You didn't really see much from Derek in the public workout.
We didn't see anything.
Yeah, he did. He did a couple press-ups.
Oh yeah, we saw that.
He gave up after
Go on, that's all right. Dog coming through.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so you didn't see much training. There, but I'm excited. I know that David Price is a handful, and I've sparred with him many rounds. I know how difficult he is to get close to, and Derek's going to try and get close to him. So David Price's right hand, right uppercut is a weapon. Derek needs to know about that, and if he doesn't know about it now, he'll know about it in that first round. In certain instances, this fight is a lot more dangerous early doors, but in the first 4 or 5 rounds, I believe this fight is more dangerous. Derek's got more chance of getting stopped against Price than he has against Parker in the first 4 or 5 rounds. After 4 or 5 rounds, I believe Derek really will show all of that experience, all of the digging deep, all of the fights with Dylan White, for instance, or Carlos Takam, where he's had to take horrendous abuse to come back and just keep pushing. Price hasn't done that before in his career. He hasn't had a fight where he's been, out on his feet, completely exhausted, and found a way to come back. That's what we believe. We believe Derek needs to get him to that place where he hasn't come back from before. But to get him there, it could be very painful. It could be very painful. So the fans, once again, should be in for a hell of a treat, particularly early doors.
A lot of people believe that this is actually more exciting fight than the Parker fight.
Yeah, it's a very different fights. Parker isn't as dangerous early doors. If you look at his record, he hasn't knocked too many people out too soon, and David Price has. Pretty much all of his victories have come by knockout, and he's very heavy-handed. He's so big, and he knows how to use his size. Olympic bronze medalist. You can't knock his boxing ability. People have knocked his punch resistance, but you've got to get there to land it. And I'm sure Dave Allen had ideas of what he wanted to do, but he wasn't allowed to do it. Derek needs to be so much better and a lot more. He needs to press the educated pressure. You can't be walking. You can't expect to walk through David Price's jabs. That won't work. You can't walk through his jab. His jab's so hard. He's so big. You're going to get hurt by the jabs. So Derek Chisora needs to do something he hasn't done in many fights. That's move forward, head movement, body shots, head shots. He needs to throw. He needs to start very fast. The last fight against Artur Spilka, I think, was a good indication of what Derek has. But I think he's a lot more tuned in for a tough, grueling fight than he was for that fight. And I'm pleased that David Price didn't allow him to switch off. Sometimes when you have a switch of opponent, particularly someone who's not deemed to be as good as the original guy he was fighting, sometimes you might take a drop off in training, but fortunately he hasn't done that, so he's kept the momentum going. And it's going to be exciting while it lasts.
Ultimately though, you believe that Chisora will knock Price out?
Yeah, I do. I think he's durable enough, tough enough. And if he does what he's been doing in sparring, that Gerald Washington over, who's a good long-range fighter. He's about 6'6", 6'7", so he's a big guy. He's been using that jab, trying to keep Derek off of him, and he hasn't been able to. Also Bryant Jennings, we've had him as well, a little bit shorter, but he's got freakishly long arms, and he's been trying to keep Derek Chisora at bay, and Derek just had to come into range, without taking too much damage. And he's been doing it. He's been doing it real well. And I think the styles will gel. And I think it's going to be some ups and downs. It's going to be lots of hills and spills, and it's not going to be easy for Derek. I'm not expecting this to be just a blast out. David Price knows what's up. He's had people come at him before in the past, and he's always look at Alexander Povetkin when he got the call to fight David Price. I'm sure he thought, it's going to be easy night's work. It wasn't that easy. If he didn't have a granite chin, if he didn't have Olympic gold medal behind him, all those fights, he wasn't in that much trouble against Vladimir Klitschko, but it was against David Price. So you have to take David Price seriously.
Can you just kind of clarify his trainer situation? Obviously, we were introduced to Steve, yeah, in the ring tonight. Can you kind of expand on that?
Steve's been training him for this camp. He's a guy I've worked with since my comeback. He was Shane McGuigan's number 2. He was Shane McGuigan's number 2 for a few years with Frampton and Josh Taylor.
The Terminator here.
There he is.
There he is.
When Ishmael Salas was over here, he was he did a lot of stuff with Ishmael Salas, who was his number 2. Lots of pad work with myself, Joe Joyce. Lots of different fighters that Salas worked with. He worked with, so he's got a lot of experience, and they've gelled together nicely. He's kept it under wraps for whatever reason, I don't know why, but he gave the big reveal today, and it's a partnership hopefully that can really gel and really work long term.
David, I know obviously you're focused on price and nothing else obviously comes ahead of that, but Eddie Hearn sounds like he's possibly lining Derek up for a shot. Eddie Hearn looks like he's lining Derek up for possibly a shot with Usyk, and Derek's been vocal about Usyk as well. What is your thoughts on that? What did you make of Usyk's heavyweight debut?
I was expecting a little bit more. I don't know what's the word. Explosiveness. I was hoping he would really want to make a statement and get a bit of a knockout. I remember my first, big heavyweight title fight after I relinquished all of my belts as a cruiserweight champion. I fought Monty Two Guns Barrett, who was coming off a good win over Ty Fields at the time, and it was a real explosive fight. I think I got knocked down kind of unofficially, officially, and I put him out, and it was an explosive fight, and I wanted to make a statement. And that was the statement I needed to get me that heavyweight title fight. So I wanted to see a few knockdowns. I didn't see that. But in terms of Derek fighting him one day, if he's successful against David Price, I'd be very comfortable with that fight. It didn't look like Witherspoon was pushing the pace or trying to use his size advantage. And he had tried to have a boxing match with a master boxer. One thing guaranteed, Derek Chisora isn't going to try and have a boxing match with you, and that's not what he does. So if he was to fight Usyk, the game plan would be pretty simple: just get into range and let your hands go. And I think that'd be an exciting fight if it can be made. So it's just heavyweight division's looking fantastic at the moment, but we can't start looking past David Price. We can't look past David Price. As I've said to Derek from the first time. From when he agreed for this fight, I said, it's a good fight if you take this fight 100% seriously. I said, you can't look past David Price. He's very, very good. He's very awkward. I've tasted one of his uppercuts before. It's hit me flush in the button, and from what of it I remember, it was very hard. I remember my legs going to jelly. It was a long time ago, and he's so much bigger and stronger now. This is when he was an amateur in 2005 or so. I remember he really shook me to my boots.
But didn't put you over?
If it was a fight, maybe the referee would have called it. My legs were gone. So that for me.
What year was that?
This was, I think, 2005. I think I sparred with him, and I think Tony Bellew as well. So I sparred with him and Bellew. I didn't have a good time whatsoever. It was a terrible sparring session for me. But up until that point, I'd sparred with him quite a bit before that, and it's been quite comfortable. But he was on it, and he switched on and saw the shot. I might have been not taking it 100% seriously, and I took it seriously after that. So I just let him know he's fast, he's heavy-handed, and he's a danger. Yeah. So you need to treat this fight as seriously as it would be if it was, Deontay Wilder on the other side of the ring.
Just a final one. Tyson Fury is competing next week in WWE.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I love it. I really think it's great. I remember when
you could easily be a WWE character.
I need to put on some weight first.
You've got the personality for that.
Yeah, but I really like it. I like the fact that he's trying to reach a different demographic. WWE has a huge fan base. So many people, particularly in America. It's such a huge form of entertainment in America. People absolutely love it. The theatre of it, the athletes that jump around. You get big guys weighing 20 stone something jumping around. And they put their body through it with so much respect for these sort of professional wrestlers. That I think it's great that he's getting involved in it. His personality is suited to WWE. He's made for this. and I'm sure he'll do fantastically well in it. And after he's finished competitive boxing, I wouldn't be surprised if he did it full time.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? David, thank you very much for your time. We'll let you get off. We've got a long day again tomorrow.
Yeah, another one. The press conference this one.
Day, yeah.
Wonder what's going to go down there.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
I never knew.
I know you know.
I don't know. I didn't know what he was going to do today. I was like, so what's the plan? He went, you'll see. I went, give me a
I can
heads
quite
up.
believe that
Then
about
he started.
Derek,
Then he got Eddie Hearn. I'm thinking, here we go. What's he going to do? Then he called me and I'm thinking,
I thought you were going to have a press up.
yeah, I thought he was going to try and make us do pro.
I've got to admit, that guy who won them tickets shouldn't have won them tickets.
no,
He was a
fair.
personal trainer. He admitted he was a personal trainer. He looked
kept
like he was going all night.
Not any random person can do 80 press ups, just banging them out, and just calling them out. Impressive.
David, thank you very much, and we'll catch up in the week, mate.
Yes, we will.
All right, top man.